Welcome to episode 2 of The Travel Kit, the short, snappy 20-minute podcast where guests bring on their favourite backpacking country and tell you all you need to know before you go there. I'm host Ollie Potts, and today we're joined by Duffin Adam all the way from Ireland. How you doing?
Yeah, good man, not too bad. And yourself?
I'm good. And what's your favourite backpacking country that today's video is going to be on?
Today's video, I'm going to do it on Nicaragua. That was my favourite country while backpacking Central America.
Cool. So, round 1, and let's talk about your very favourite photo, which I've already seen. I'm going to put it on screen now. But do you want to describe kind of the context around this photo? Why is it your favourite photo from Nicaragua?
So I had watched like a travel series from, I can't remember the name of them. It was 3 friends and they had hitchhiked from Mexico down to Panama. And
Hitchhiked?
they hitchhiked the entire way. And one thing that they got to see was the Masai volcano in Nicaragua. And it's basically this like hole in the earth where you can see straight down and there's like bubbling lava. It's like an active volcano. So I was like, I need to see that. And then I got to the hostel and there was a trip leaving in like 20 minutes. So I like signed up for it, got up there, and you're like up on this like little viewing platform and you look down into basically like the center of the earth. And I thought it was outrageous.
And what's the name of that volcano?
Masai volcano.
Masai.
Masai,
and
yeah.
And so what was the walk up to it like? Was it really steep, rocky?
No, it was actually, it's like there's like a path, there's like a hike up the back of it. So you drive up to this car park and then you go on like a little trail kind of up the back, and there's a few different ones. There's like 2 dormant, 1 extinct, and then this one's like the active one that's still bubbling away. And you kind of like walk this trail and come back down to like the little viewing platform.
And what was it like looking down?
Yeah, like surreal. I mean, you know yourself, like photos don't do this stuff justice. So you're looking down into like this bubbling magma. I tried to get like a video, but it's real like pixely and stuff because it's quite far down. But yeah, I just thought that was outrageous.
Time for round 2, the knowledge round, where I ask guests questions based on their favourite country, in this case Nicaragua. They've got 3 possible answers and they need to get as many right as they can in 60 seconds. Adam, are you ready?
Right.
How confident are you feeling?
Give it a go. I don't know about my general knowledge of Nicaragua, but we'll see how we go.
All right, hopefully we've got some interesting questions here. So let's get into it. 4, 3, 2, 1. What year did Nicaragua become fully independent? 1760, 1860 or 1960?
1960.
Incorrect. At the peak, how many tourist arrivals per year were there in Nicaragua pre-pandemic? 500,000, a million or 2 million?
A million.
Incorrect. Which of these is present in the central coat of arms of its flag? A volcano, a church or a rainbow?
Church.
Incorrect. How do you spell Nicaragua?
Nicaragua.
Incorrect.
Ah, man.
What shape is the coat of arms on its flag? Is it square, triangular or rectangular?
Triangular.
Correct. Nicaragua is the largest country in Central America in terms of area. True or false?
True.
Correct. What does the country have the 2 largest of in Central America? Volcanoes, lakes or cities?
Volcanoes.
Incorrect. Oh, 60 seconds is up.
Oh,
that
really?
was 2.
That was brutal.
That was quite hard.
When did they get their independence?
It was 1860.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've been an independent country now for quite a long time.
Fair.
It also had 2 million tourist arrivals.
What?
I think that was in 2017, pre-pandemic, which is a lot.
That is a lot, yeah.
What surprised me, there's a rainbow on its coat of arms.
Seriously?
Yeah, a volcano church rainbow. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Nicaragua, you were close. You got the A right, which is the one I kept getting wrong. It's Nicaragua.
Okay, fair.
And then you got shape of arms being triangular, and it is the largest country in the area, yeah.
Yeah,
but
to be fair,
it has the 2 largest lakes.
Oh, okay, Ometepe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was there actually as well. I should have known that one.
Okay, we'll move on to round 3, which is a new round we're going to call Truth or Lie. So basically, all I want you to do is tell us a story that's either truth or a lie from your time in Nicaragua. Try and make it sound as unbelievable as possible, and I've got to guess whether it is true or it is in fact a lie. So do you want to tell us your story?
Okay, so when I was driving around Ometepe Island, I was stopping off in this little like viewpoint to take photos. There's like a spot where there's like 2 dormant volcanoes, and you take photos of both of them at like the same time. It's really cool. So I was stopping off there, and then this man was like herding his cattle up the side of the road, and he's like talking to me, and I've like quite limited Spanish, and he's basically like, "Oh, come with me, like I'll take you to like a better spot." And he like brought me up like through this little like pathway where he's bringing all his like cows, and then they went off to like pasture, and he brought me up to this like other viewpoint, and it was unbelievable. I could like see basically like 360 views of the island. Then he like brought me to like this like kind of waterfall thing. I don't know, it was more like a kind of like a little slide thing.
Did you feel safe
like,
with this man?
Yeah, he was pretty chill. Like I presumed he was like a farmer, and he's just working away.
And did he speak? He spoke English.
Like a little bit, not really. I think Nicaragua was probably the country where they spoke, unless they were like a guide or something like that, they didn't really speak a whole pile of English. But their Spanish is like quite easy to understand, and I did it in school, so I kind of understood him. So he like brought me to this like waterfall thing, and he was just a really sound dude.
And so how long did you spend with this guy?
Maybe an hour and a half for that.
An hour and a half?
Not too long, yeah. He was just walking, and I was just kind of like asking him, what's it like living on the island? Because you have to get like a ferry across and stuff, so.
Oh, so this is in the centre of Ometepe Lake?
Ometepe Island, yeah, is like in the centre of the lake, yeah.
And what did he say it was like living there?
He said like it's pretty tough, like everyone's kind of just trying to get by, they don't really have too much money. But I think with like you were saying, the influx of tourism and people coming across, I think it's kind of benefiting them, so it's kind of cool to see.
Okay, that's made me kind of believe it then, because I was going to go lie, because a guy with spending an hour and a half out of his time with you to show you around in Central America is quite out there. But because you told me they're friendly and you can hitchhike on the island, that makes me believe it is true.
Yeah, no, it's not. No.
Isn't it?
No, I never met.
Oh, you baited me in with that one.
Yeah. But I
was going to say, let's see a photo.
No, I have heard stories of people like just being like shown around, like people are genuinely really nice there.
Okay, so it could happen. I see. Clever.
It could. You could get shown around by a farmer that's herding his cattle.
So we'll move on to round 4, the Q&A round, where I'll ask Adam loads of different questions about backpacking Nicaragua and any travel tips he has. Usually as a first question I'd say where to go, but in fact in Nicaragua in Central America, some places are quite dangerous, so in fact I'm going to go for where to avoid in Nicaragua to kick us off.
Right, so Nicaragua, I would say, is probably the place I felt like the most safe. Everybody's really friendly. Their crime rate is like plummeted in the last few years, so there isn't really a major risk with traveling there. But I haven't heard great stories from the capital, Managua, and generally, I mean, you probably know yourself from being there. Like the capital cities, I would say in a lot of countries are kind of overrated. And then in Central America, they kind of tend to be like a bit of a mixing pot for just a lot of badness, I guess.
And do you have to go through Managua to get connections to Ometepe or any of the other touristy bits?
Yeah, up for Leon and Granada, you have to stop off in Managua. But I mean, that's literally just in the bus terminal if you really want to. But if you want to get out to the Corn Islands, so they're off in the Caribbean, but they're like islands belonging to Nicaragua, you can fly or you can get a bus, and you have to do both of them from Managua itself. So you could end up spending a night.
And how did you feel when you were in the capital? Did you feel unsafe?
That's the thing, like I didn't spend a whole lot of time there. I was there for maybe like an hour and a half, like just getting a bus transfer. So
you can avoid it.
Yeah, like you don't have to go out wandering. But I was traveling with a German guy, and he didn't really like it. He didn't find it too safe. I would always say like don't just take, my opinion about places. Like, go and figure it out for yourself. But I would say just be a little bit cautious. But in terms of the rest of the country, yeah, no problems really.
Okay, so where did you go? Which places would you recommend people put top of the list?
If you're coming into Nicaragua, you're probably either going to be coming up from Costa Rica or like down from like El Salvador or Honduras or somewhere like that. I came up from Costa Rica, so I did San Juan del Sur first, which is like this like surf town. It's become like really popular in the last few years. If you want like a quieter version, there's Popoyo is a little bit further north. That's really nice as well. So I did the two of those. I did Ometepe Island was next. So that's like the beauty about Nicaragua is everything's on like the west coast, and it's quite close together. Like, you're not doing big massive bus journeys like in Mexico or Guatemala or somewhere like that.
How long does it take to get between those places?
Like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, is that
Like,
it? Oh, wow.
yeah, it's really short. And then yeah, it's maybe an hour and a half to Ometepe. Then you get like the ferry across. Getting around Ometepe can be difficult, so like a scooter is quite handy there because the buses are really infrequent. Then it was up to Leon or Granada. I can't remember which one. Granada. Yeah, up to Granada. And
So when you say these are all on the Pacific coast, you didn't end up going to the Caribbean at all, other than the Corn Islands, which you could go to, which are on the mainland.
yeah,
Everything's quite close on the Pacific.
everything's close on the Pacific side. I think it's 90% of the population lives on the Pacific side, and 10% lives on the west,
Wow.
or on the east side. That's like massive jungle, and like it's really rural out there. I think if I go back, I would like to maybe get out there at some point because it's meant to be really cool. Leave the phone away, like just go enjoy the beach, meet up with whoever. And they were saying like you don't even need to like text if you go with people, or you know that people are going to be there. You don't need to text them. You'll just bump into them. Like I said, it's
That is really cool. It's different aspects of travel that maybe you get less nowadays because everyone's doing the same route. So that might be a great alternative.
Yeah, exactly. You can kind of. I think it is definitely getting more difficult to find like hidden gems, kind of. Like, you can imagine if we were to do this like 20 years ago, there's so many places, like whatever, the internet's only starting, and like there's so many places that you can like be the first to kind of discover. And I think that's getting a little bit more difficult now, but maybe the Corn Islands is
Yeah,
is
that's
one of them.
a secret inside too, because I've never really heard of them either because I didn't go there. Cool. So final thing is to do with talking to loved ones, family about traveling for longer periods. How did you go about it? I know you did Central America in one go,
Yeah,
but if we're talking about, you spent 3 months, 4 months there?
5.
5 months.
5
So
months
how
up through it.
how was that conversation at home when you were planning it to go for such a long time? Obviously, you've now done longer, but if you're going back to
Yeah.
that first trip,
The first trip, well, I was actually meant to do Southeast Asia for my first trip, and that was like, I think because it has such a good rap in terms of like how safe it is and how easy it is for people to travel through the countries. They didn't really have any issues with me doing it. Like, my parents are really, really relaxed. Like, they're so good to me. And they were like, look, if this is what you want to do and you can afford it, like it's your decision. Just be careful. And then they stopped the applications to get into Central America or to get into Southeast Asia. So then I was like, okay, where can I go? So I said, okay, I'll go to Central America. And my dad was fine with it. I think my mom was a little bit more apprehensive,
is that because of its reputation?
just based on the location, not necessarily the length that I was going for. But in terms of like being away from home, yeah, like they miss me, I miss them, but I think they know that it's what I want to spend my time doing. So I think that makes it a little bit easier for them. Yeah, I suppose I don't know if I've encountered somebody who's had that issue, I suppose. Like like because my parents are so relaxed, maybe I just take it for granted that, all parents are kind of okay with their children going off and doing their thing for 6 months or a year.
I guess it is specifically about that part of the world where it does have a reputation, particularly 20, 30 years ago, of crime, maybe gang to gang, drugs, etc. It still does happen. So when I was there, it had I think it was El Salvador had to close its borders, but Nicaragua genuinely seems fairly safe if we're just talking about that individually.
Yeah, definitely. Like they had like a civil war there not too long ago, only in the last like 20, 30 years. And I think since then it has become much safer. And I think that's the case for a lot of the countries. They've all had like, I think bar Honduras, they've all had quite big like civil conflicts. And I think now it's getting a lot better. Like you spoke about El Salvador there, like they've done a huge thing where they've gone from, I think it was the most crime to now, or the most murders to now the most people in prison. Like they have just like and you're like guilty by association in El Salvador now, which obviously has its downsides because you're going to end up putting people in prison that shouldn't really be in prison. But at the same time, cleaning up a mess like that isn't going to be pretty. So it's like, where do you find the balance? You know, you want to create a safe country, but by doing it, you're going to like affect people that shouldn't really be affected.
And for the final round, I'm going to ask guests what their first item in their travel kit is before they go backpacking. Jack said sliders last time. What is your number one item that goes in your kit?
I would say some form of like quick drying towel. So for me, I recently got like a Turkish towel, and I think that is like the perfect happy medium. It's not like, you know, when you use like the microfiber towels and they feel like a bit grim when you're using them. Also, like you bring them to the beach and they get a bit sandy. Towards these like Turkish towels, I think are like the perfect like happy medium.
Right, thanks Adam for coming on. Where can people find you if they want to check out your content?
Yeah, my YouTube, Instagram, it's all Duffin Adam, DUFFIN ADAM. And yeah, that's, if you fancy finding out a bit about Central America or anything like that.
Great, and that's it for this episode of The Travel Kit. Tune in next time for another guest who will come on and talk about their favourite backpacking country and give away all the tips and tricks you guys need to know before you go there. I will see you next time.